Hi book lovers, welcome back to my channel. Happy almost Christmas and happy winter. I have my winter TBR to share with you all today, so these are the books that I really want to get to in the next few months. I of course have a couple holiday romances here as well as a few upcoming releases, like upcoming December, January, and February new releases, at least the ones that I'm highly anticipating. So let's hope that I'll be able to get to all of them this winter. I at least definitely want to read the Christmas romances, the holiday romances before Christmas. The top of my TBR is a book that released a little while ago. It came out earlier this year and I still haven't gotten to it even though I was so excited for it to release. It's Play Along by Liz Tomforde. It's book 4 in the Windy City series and I was so excited for it because I love the series so much. So yes, I know, I still can't believe it myself that I still haven't read this one. It's Isaiah's romance. He was introduced earlier in the series and here we have the trope where the main characters accidentally get married in Vegas. It's a baseball romance. Isaiah is the shortstop of Chicago's baseball team and the heroine is his team's athletic trainer, so any sort of fraternization is a no-no. But when they go to Vegas, they wake up the next morning and find out that they somehow got married. So the two of them have to go along with this marriage to make sure that the heroine's job isn't in jeopardy. But also Isaiah has always had a crush on her, so this is basically his chance to make her fall in love with him for real. It just sounds like so much fun and I love the series so much, so I'm sure I'll love this one. I also do generally enjoy the accidentally getting married in Vegas trope, and I think Liz Tomforde announced that the 5th book was releasing next year, so I definitely need to read this one before book 5 comes out. I also need to read Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage. This one came out like a few months ago. It's book 3 in the Blue Rebel Ranch series. And I do like the series. They're like small town cowboy romances, very easy to read, very simple, sweet romances, so they do sometimes hit the spot. This 3rd book is an enemies to lovers romance with the best friend's brother trope. The hero is a single dad and he runs this really big ranch, so he's kind of getting overwhelmed and he needs some help. And the only person around who's available is his sister's best friend, who he doesn't exactly get along with. In fact, they kind of hate each other, but since she is his only option, she becomes his kid's nanny. Honestly, it's got a lot of good tropes here, a lot of my favorite tropes to read. It's got a lot of things that I know I would like, so I definitely need to get to this one soon. Next on my TBR is the new Casey mcquiston book called The Pairing. It's another queer romance from this author. We have 2 bisexual exes who accidentally book the same food and wine tour in Europe. The main characters used to be childhood friends who fell in love, so they got together, but then something happened and they end up breaking up. They originally planned on doing this European wine and food tour together, obviously when they were still together, but now that they've broken up, they individually decided to go solo, except whoops, they're not solo because they booked the same trip at the same time. So they're going through like France and Spain and Italy together. They end up making a wager to see who can sleep with their hot Italian tour guide first. Also, this is the pretty special edition that I have from Afterlight. I really love the artwork here, so hopefully I actually love the story too. And then I have Play With Me by Becca Mack on my winter TBR. I recently read Consider Me, which is book 1 in the Playing for Keeps series, and I surprised myself by how much I enjoyed that one. It wasn't anything groundbreaking, but it was so much fun to read. I love the audiobook and I could totally see why that hockey romance blew up as big as it did. So now I want to read more of the series, and Play With Me is on my TBR now. It's book 2 in the series. It's another hockey romance and we have a bit of a forbidden romance going on. The hero is a professional hockey player and he falls for his captain's younger sister. So it sounds like a I shouldn't want her but I do situation, which does sound very exciting to read, and depending on how much I love the 2nd book, I might end up also just binging the rest of the series. And then I have The Dixon Rule by Elle Kennedy. This is another book that I still haven't read yet, even though I was so excited for it because I loved the 1st book, The Graham Effect. It's book 2 in the Campus Diaries series. Book 1, The Graham Effect, came out last year and that was incredible. This whole series is like the spin-off 2nd generation of the Off Campus series, which is like the OG hockey romance series. The Graham Effect lived up to all of my expectations, so hopefully this second book will too. The Dixon Rule is Diana and Shane's romance, who have just become new apartment neighbors. Diana doesn't like Shane though because he's a huge man whore, he's a huge player, but she doesn't know that he is actually really tired of the hookups and wants a real relationship. Unfortunately, he's going to have to wait a little bit longer because the two of them enter a fake relationship, mostly because both of their exes have problems with staying away from them. Like, they keep sniffing around Diana and Shane, so they pretend to be together to get their exes off their backs. I remember loving Shane in The Graham Effect, so I'm really excited for his romance. Honestly, I have a feeling I'll love it as much as The Graham Effect just because I love Elle Kennedy's writing. Her steam and banter are always top-notch. And then I've recently been craving some fantasy romance to read lately, so I have two fat fantasy books that I'm putting on my winter TBR. So I'm going to try to get to them this winter. They're both hugely popular fantasy romances, so I really want to see what the hype is all about. So the first one is Quicksilver by Callie, Hart. This one I believe originally published as an indie book but recently got picked up by a publisher, and even though I hear about it so much online, I literally have no idea what it's about, so had to look it up. I looked at the blurb and it's a fae fantasy romance, so I'm definitely getting why this book blew up. Like, I guess if you love the Court of Thorns and Roses series, then this is probably one you will try next, just because it's got fae. So in this one, the heroine somehow binds herself to the hero, who is this fae warrior, in order to protect herself and try to find a way back home. Honestly, that's all I got from the blurb really. I don't know what else it's about, but I do know that it's over 600 pages, so it's gonna be quite the doozy. And then the other fantasy romance I've been meaning to try is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. This one has dragons, so I'm sold already. The heroine is an assassin who gets captured, and her scheduled death is supposed to be like a political statement, but she ends up getting saved by the hero, who is the king. The blurb is also super vague here. I'm not sure why fantasy books have such vague blurbs, so who even knows what else happens in this mammoth of a book. Like, this one I think is over 700 pages. Yeah, it's about 700 pages here, so it's another fat book. I am curious though, for those who've read When the Moon Hatched and Quicksilver, do you think the size of these books are really necessary? Like, do they really need to be 600-700 pages long? Because from my perspective, that's a no. And of course, if you've read them, let me know what you think. Before I get into the rest of this video, I wanted to give a shout out to today's sponsor, Ana Luisa. Ana Luisa is a jewelry brand with an amazing collection of earrings, necklaces, rings, and more. All of their pieces are top quality, they are tarnish resistant, they're long lasting, and each piece comes with a 2-year warranty. I got 3 new pieces of jewelry from them recently, 2 of which I'm wearing right now. The earrings that I have on are called Jody. They're like thicker hoop earrings that wrap closely around the lobe. And then this is their Oran ring. I got this in gold. It's like an open ring. And then the other pair of earrings that I got are also another sort of hoop earrings. They're also super cute, small but a little chunky. Right now, Ana Luisa has a sale going on. You can grab the perfect jewelry gifts for up to 35% off. I'll leave a link in my description for you all to check it out. I highly recommend any piece from Ana Luisa. They would make the perfect holiday gifts. A big thank you to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. I'm always super excited to partner up with them on my channel. Also, don't forget about their sale. You can get up to 35% off their jewelry. And then moving on to some of the holiday romances on my winter TBR. First up is My December Darling by Lauren Asher. This is a small town Christmas novella set in the same world as the Lakefront Billionaire series and the Dreamland Billionaire series. It's a wedding romance between the maid of honor and the best man, and she doesn't like him because he is her ex's best friend. I love a good wedding romance, although I'm not sure I've ever read a Christmas wedding romance, but I'm into it. It sounds super cute. I'm also a fan of both of the Billionaire series from Lauren Asher, and I was genuinely excited when she announced that she was writing a Christmas romance. And then I also want to read A Jingle Bell Mingle by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. This is the third and final book in the Christmas Notch series, and I honestly didn't even realize this third book already came out. These two authors, they started the series like 2 years ago, and they released one Christmas romance each year, like around the holidays. So I don't know how I forgot about this one, but I'm excited to read it. Like I said, this is the last book in the series. It's about the third former boy band member. Each book has been about one of the three members. His heroine is a part-time adult actress, and she recently sold a screenplay, but the deadline is coming up and she doesn't have anything. So she returns to the wintry holiday town of Christmas Notch for some inspiration. The hero is also creatively blocked and is struggling to write new music. These two have a one-night stand, and then they decide to hunker down together in this inn and try to find some inspiration together. And then, oh my gosh, so the last holiday romance on my winter TBR is a freaking holiday romance from Allie Carter. I had no idea that she came out with a holiday rom-com. I used to love her books growing up, like the Gallagher Girls series. That was my entire personality. So her holiday romance is called The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. It's rivals to lovers and a romance mystery. Both the main characters are authors. The heroine is the queen of cozy mysteries and the hero is the king of thrillers. They both get invited by a fan of theirs to a Christmas house party, only to find out that the host is this mega author and she ends up disappearing. So the main characters have to work together to find and save that host. This book sounds exactly like something Allie Carter would write, and I'm so here for it. And then the last part of my TBR are my top 3 most anticipated reads of the winter. So first up, we have Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. This one is coming out January 21st. It's book 3 in the Empyrean series, and I think this is probably everyone's most anticipated book of the entire year, and it's literally out the first month of 2025. I'm actually really excited for Onyx Storm because I feel like I'm one of the few people who didn't hate Iron Flame. I liked book 2, and I'm genuinely excited to see where Rebecca Yarros will take the series. I mean, I'm still hoping that it's gonna be good, obviously. There's still a lot to learn from all the characters, from the world, and I am thankfully more invested in Violet and Xaden's romance now, thanks to the second book. I wasn't sold yet in Fourth Wing, that's why. So this one is a highly anticipated release on my TBR. I even tried to get tickets to Rebecca Yarros's midnight release at the Grove in LA, but those tickets sold out in less than a minute. So that was a fail for me, but I'm sure I'm not the only one who has this on their TBR for the winter for January. Another January release is Phantom by H.D. Carlton. This one is also out on the same day, January 21st, and it's a dark historical romance. It's set in the 1940s, and it's sort of a prequel to the Cat and Mouse duet in that the heroine is actually the grandmother of the heroine from the Cat and Mouse duet. It's about Adeline's grandmother and that grandmother's stalker. So the whole stalker thing kind of runs in the family, I guess. I'm mostly excited about this one because I love the Cat and Mouse duet like a lot of other people did, but I also love dark historical romances and I need more of them out there. I mean, not that I think that this is gonna be super historical or anything, but it's still H.D. Carlton's take on a dark historical romance. A dark stalker historical romance between a married woman and her mobster stalker. So this should be really good. And then the final book on my winter TBR is Deep End by Hazelwood, by my favorite. This standalone is coming out February 4th, and it's a freaking sports romance from Hazelwood. I am so hyped, in case you couldn't tell. I am still a little sad though that this book isn't called Wet anymore. Like, the title was straight up just gonna be Wet, which is so on brand for Hazelwood, but no, it's now called Deep End, which is also fitting for this sports romance because it's got swimming and diving. It's set in college in Stanford. The heroine is a competitive diver and the hero is the swim captain and a world champion. Oh, and they're getting ready to compete in the Olympics. This release probably would have worked a little bit better if it actually released on an Olympic year, but it's fine. Whatever Hazelwood writes, I will read. But I'm especially excited for this one because I used to swim. I was a swimmer in high school. It's the only sport that I actually know and can do, and I love watching swimming in the Olympics, so I have so much high hopes for Deep End. And that's it for my winter TBR. These are all the books that I'm hoping to get to in the next few months. Whether I'll be able to or not remains to be seen. If you guys have read any of the books that I mentioned, please let me know what you think of them. As always, links to everything will be down in the description below. A big thank you again to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget about their sale. You can currently get up to 35% off their jewelry. You can use my link in the description to check them out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye!